I never thought I'd be the kind of person who needed security cameras. I live in a quiet neighborhood, the kind where everyone knows each other and the biggest excitement is the occasional lost dog or a neighbor's birthday party. But after a string of break-ins a few streets over, I decided it was better to be safe than sorry. I bought a set of cameras online, installed them around my house, and figured I'd never have to think about them again. For months, all they captured were squirrels, delivery drivers, and the occasional raccoon rummaging through the trash. That is, until last week. It started on a Thursday night. I was up late working on my laptop in the living room when I got a notification on my phone. Motion detected front door. I glanced at the clock. It was just after 2 a.m. I figured it was probably a cat or maybe the wind, but I decided to check the live feed anyway. The screen showed my front porch, empty except for the welcome mat and a few dead leaves. I watched for a minute, waiting for something to move, but nothing happened. I shrugged it off and went back to work. The next morning, I checked the camera footage out of curiosity. I scrolled back to 2 a.m., expecting to see nothing, but as I watched, I noticed something strange. For a few seconds, the video glitched. Static flickered across the screen and the porch light seemed to dim. Then, in the middle of the frame, a shadow appeared. It wasn't a person or an animal, it was just a shape, darker than the night, moving slowly across the porch. It didn't walk or crawl, it just glided, almost as if it was floating. The whole thing lasted maybe 10 seconds, and then the shadow vanished. The light returned to normal, and the video went back to its usual boring self. I replayed the clip over and over, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. I checked the other cameras, but none of them showed anything unusual. I tried to convince myself it was just a glitch, a trick of the light, maybe a bug crawling across the lens. But the more I watched, the less sense it made. The shadow didn't look like anything I'd ever seen before. It didn't have a shape I could describe. No arms, no legs, no face. Just darkness, moving with purpose. I sent the video to a couple of friends, asking if they'd ever seen anything like it. Most of them laughed it off, saying it was probably a camera malfunction or a passing cloud. But one friend, Mark, messaged me back almost immediately. "Dude, that's not normal. You need to check your other cameras, and whatever you do, don't go outside alone tonight." Mark's message rattled me more than I wanted to admit. I tried to laugh it off, but his words stuck with me all day. That evening, as the sun set and the house grew quiet, I found myself checking the camera feeds again and again. I watched the clip from the night before, looking for anything I might have missed. I zoomed in, slowed it down, even adjusted the brightness, but the shadow stayed the same, featureless, silent, and impossible to explain. I decided to set up my phone to alert me for any motion, not just at the front door, but on all the cameras. I told myself it was just for peace of mind. But deep down, I was hoping to catch something, anything, that would make sense of what I'd seen. I stayed up late, watching the feeds, jumping at every notification. Most were nothing. A car driving by, a branch swaying in the wind, a moth fluttering past the lens. But just after 2 a.m., I got another alert. This time it was from the backyard. I opened the live feed, my heart pounding. The yard was empty, bathed in the pale glow of the security light. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then, just like the night before, the video glitched. The light flickered, and the screen filled with static. When the picture cleared, the shadow was there again, this time closer to the house. It moved the same way as before, gliding across the grass, leaving no trace behind. I watched, frozen as it paused near the back door, then vanished into the darkness. I didn't sleep that night. I kept replaying the footage, trying to convince myself it was just a trick of the camera, some weird technical glitch. But the fear was real, a cold knot in my stomach that wouldn't go away. I started to wonder if I should call someone, the police, a tech support line, maybe even a paranormal investigator. But what would I say? That my security camera had caught a shadow that shouldn't exist. The next day I showed the footage to my neighbor, Mrs. Patel. She watched in silence, her face growing pale. When the clip ended, she looked at me and said, "You should bless your house. Sometimes things come through at night, things that don't belong here." I tried to laugh, but her words unsettled me. I started to wonder if there was something about my house, something I didn't know. That night I double-checked every lock and left every light on. I told myself I was being paranoid, but I couldn't shake the feeling that the shadow would come back, and I was right. The third night I barely slept at all. Every creak of the house, every gust of wind against the windows made me jump. I kept my phone on the pillow beside me, the camera app open, ready to check the feeds at the slightest sound. Midnight came and went, and for a while everything was quiet. I started to think maybe it was over, that whatever I'd seen was just a fluke. But then, at exactly 2:17 a.m., my phone buzzed with another alert. Motion detected. Living room. My heart stopped. The living room camera was inside the house. I hadn't expected to get any notifications from there, not unless I was moving around myself. I sat up, hands shaking, and opened the live feed. The room was empty just as I'd left it. Couch, coffee table, the glow of the street light filtering through the curtains. But as I watched, the screen flickered, and for a split second the shadow appeared again. This time it was inside, gliding across the floor, darker than the night itself. I stared at the screen, unable to move. The shadow paused in the center of the room, as if it knew I was watching. Then slowly it turned toward the camera. The feed glitched, the image warping and twisting, and for a moment I thought I saw something in the darkness. A face, or the suggestion of one, staring back at me. The screen went black, and when the picture returned, the room was empty again. I jumped out of bed and ran to the living room, flipping on every light. There was nothing there, no sign of forced entry, no footprints, nothing out of place. But the air felt colder, heavier, as if something had just left. I checked the locks again, made sure every window was shut tight, and sat on the couch, staring at the camera. I didn't dare go back to bed. The next morning, I called Mark and told him everything. He listened without interrupting, then said, "You need to get out of that house, at least for a few nights. Whatever that thing is, it's getting closer." I wanted to argue, to tell him he was overreacting, but I couldn't. I packed a bag and stayed at a friend's place across town. But even there, I couldn't sleep. I kept checking the camera feeds, half expecting to see the shadow following me. When I finally returned home, I found something waiting for me. On the front porch, right where the shadow had first appeared, was a single, perfect handprint, dark, smudged, and cold to the touch. I knew then that whatever I'd caught on camera wasn't finished with me. and I knew I had to keep watching no matter how much I wanted to look away. I started documenting everything. Every night I set up my phone to record the live feeds, saving every clip, every glitch, every second of static. I made notes of the times the shadow appeared, the rooms it visited, the strange cold spots that lingered long after it vanished. I even set up motion sensors and left flour on the floor, hoping to catch some physical evidence. But the shadow never left a trace. No footprints, no fingerprints, nothing but that single chilling handprint on the porch. The more I watched, the more I noticed patterns. The shadow always appeared between 2 and 3 a.m., always moving in the same slow, deliberate way. Sometimes it would pause in front of a camera as if it knew I was watching. Other times it would glide through the walls, vanishing and reappearing in another room. The glitches in the footage grew worse, the static louder, and sometimes just before the shadow appeared, I'd hear a faint whisper, so soft I couldn't make out the words, but always there, just beneath the hum of the electronics. I tried reaching out for help. I posted the videos online, hoping someone would have an explanation. Most people thought it was a hoax, a clever editing trick, or a camera malfunction, but a few believed me. They sent messages late at night, sharing their own stories, shadows caught on camera, voices in the static, things that moved through their homes when no one else was there. One message stood out. It was from someone who claimed to be a paranormal investigator. "If it's inside your house," they wrote, "it's looking for something. Don't try to talk to it. Don't acknowledge it. Just keep watching. And whatever you do, don't let it know you're afraid." That advice was easier said than done. Every night the fear grew stronger. I started seeing the shadow even when I wasn't looking at the cameras, out of the corner of my eye, in the reflection of a window, in the darkness at the end of the hallway. I stopped inviting friends over, afraid of what they might see or what might follow them home. The house felt different now, colder, emptier, as if the shadow had drained all the warmth and light from the walls. But I couldn't stop watching. I felt like I was part of something bigger, something I didn't understand. The shadow was trying to tell me something, to show me something, and I was terrified to find out what it was. Still, every night I sat in front of the screens, waiting for the moment when the shadow would return. The next time it appeared, everything changed. It was a Sunday night, and I was more exhausted than ever, my nerves frayed from weeks of sleeplessness. I almost didn't check the cameras that night, but something, curiosity, dread, maybe just habit, made me open the app one more time before bed. The house was quiet, every light on, every door locked. I watched the feeds, my eyes heavy until the clock crept past 2 a.m. That's when the static started. The screen flickered, the image warping and twisting, and then the shadow was there. This time in the hallway outside my bedroom. It moved slowly, gliding along the wall, pausing in front of the camera. For a moment it seemed to look directly at me, as if it could see through the lens. The air in my room grew icy, my breath visible in the glow of my phone. I wanted to look away, to shut off the feed, but I couldn't. I was frozen, trapped by the shadow's gaze. Then something new happened. The shadow reached out, its form stretching and shifting, and pressed what looked like a hand against the camera. The feed went black, the static louder than ever. and for a split second I heard my name whispered through the noise. When the picture returned, the hallway was empty, but the camera lens was fogged, as if something cold had touched it. I sat there, shaking, trying to convince myself it was just a dream, a trick of the mind brought on by too many sleepless nights. But when I checked the camera the next morning, the lens was still fogged, and a faint smudged handprint was visible in the condensation. I wiped it away, but the chill in the air lingered, a reminder that the shadow had been there, that it had reached out to me. After that night, the shadow started appearing more often, sometimes twice in the same night, always between 2 and 3 a.m. The whispers grew louder, the static more intense. I started to feel like I was being watched all the time, not just through the cameras, but everywhere, in the shower, in the kitchen, even when I left the house. I tried to ignore it, to pretend everything was normal, but the fear was always there, just beneath the surface. I don't know what the shadow wants or why it chose me. Maybe it's always been here, waiting for someone to notice. Maybe it's something that slipped through the cracks, something that doesn't belong in this world. All I know is that once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once it knows you're watching, it never really leaves. I wish I could say this story has a neat ending, that I found a way to get rid of the shadow, or that the cameras finally stopped picking up anything strange. But the truth is, it's still happening. Every night I watch the feeds, hoping for a quiet night, dreading the moment the static starts and the shadow returns. I've tried everything, resetting the cameras, moving them to different rooms, even having the house blessed like Mrs. Patel suggested. Nothing works. The shadow always finds its way back, always at the same time, always moving closer. Sometimes I wonder if it's trying to communicate, if the whispers in the static are a message I'm just not able to understand. Other times I think it's just playing with me, feeding off my fear, growing stronger every time I check the cameras. I've stopped sharing the footage online. Too many people called me a liar, and the ones who believed me only made me more afraid. Some sent warnings, others sent prayers, but no one had any real answers. I've started to notice changes in myself, too. I'm more tired, more anxious, jumping at every sound. I keep the lights on all night, but the darkness still finds its way in. I see the shadow in my dreams now, standing at the foot of my bed, reaching out with those long, shapeless arms. Sometimes I wake up to find the cameras have recorded hours of static, the footage corrupted and unusable, but the handprints keep appearing. On the windows, on the mirrors, even on the inside of the camera lenses. If you're watching this, if you've made it to the end, I have one piece of advice. Pay attention to what your cameras show you. Don't ignore the glitches, the shadows, the things that don't make sense. Sometimes the things we catch on camera are just the beginning. Sometimes they're a warning. And sometimes they're a door to something we were never meant to see. I don't know if the shadow will ever leave. Maybe it's part of the house now, or maybe it's part of me. But I keep watching, keep recording, hoping that one day I'll catch something that explains it all. Until then, I'll keep the lights on, keep the doors locked, and keep my eyes on the cameras. Because once you see something you can't explain, you can never look away. And if you ever get a notification in the middle of the night, motion detected, static on the screen, a shadow where there shouldn't be one, don't watch alone. And whatever you do, Don't look away before the end.